Coming up on Beach TV News. The Golden State is underwater. Nearly 37 million people in California are under storm watch. Hillside communities are preparing for another round of heavy rain and potential mudslides. Plus, a massive explosion puts 2 firefighters in critical condition. Our reporter is live on the scene with the latest details. And after a Super Bowl celebration turns tragic, players of the Kansas City Chiefs are showing love to the victims. All that and more next. Beach TV News starts now. Welcome to this edition of Beach TV News. I am Morgan Barella.
And I am Marcela Carrillo. Beach TV News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Long Beach. We begin tonight with breaking news coming out of Wilmington. 9 firefighters were severely injured when a compressed natural gas tank on a burning truck exploded. The explosion could be felt for miles. Our reporter Kevin Fernandez is live in Wilmington with an update on the situation. Kevin?
Yes, truly a scary situation here where 9 firefighters were injured and 2 of them are in critical condition following an explosion here in Wilmington. The Los Angeles Fire Department says a massive explosion resulted from a pressurized cylinder on a semi-truck in Wilmington early this morning. Firefighters responded to a call about a truck with pressurized cylinders on fire. The explosion happened 6 minutes after they arrived. The injured firefighters were rushed to Harbor UCLA Medical Center, and one of them was airlifted to a burn center. During a press conference this afternoon, the fire department said no homes nearby are in danger and there are no evacuations needed. However, residents are urged to stay indoors. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families of the firefighters, and we're hoping for a speedy recovery. Reporting live from Wilmington, Kevin Fernandez, Beach TV News.
Thank you, Kevin. We're hoping for the speedy recovery of all the injured firefighters. And now to the weather. More rainfall continues to drench California, adding more inches of rain to the already saturated hillsides. And get this, more powering showers will blanket the state this week. 37 million residents are under flood alerts across the state. Many are residing along the California coast. The state is looking to receive an additional 2 to 3 more inches of rain following multiple storms that poured through the region earlier this month. Heavy winds have also contributed to dangerous driving conditions and potential tornado threats. California's infrastructure was not made to withstand this amount of rain. The storms have already amassed up to $11 billion in damage cleanups alone due to downed power lines causing power outages, fallen trees, and ruined roads. With potentially more rainfall coming our way, California residents are continuing to prepare for what's to come.
Well, at least 2 people have died in the latest round of storms. Police in Santa Barbara are investigating the death of a woman whose body was found tangled in trees along the bank of a swollen creek. Santa Barbara police said foul play was not suspected. And in Goleta, an elderly man reportedly attempted to drive across a creek and was swept away. Police say they have been able to recover the man's body. This week's storms have delivered 10 inches of rain to the area, turning creeks into rough torrents of fast-moving water. Nearly the entire population of California is under flood alerts.
Remember to stay safe out there. In political news, former President Donald Trump has been ordered to pay over $350 million in fines after being found liable for financial fraud. A New York judge ordered the former president to pay over $350 million in fines after Trump and his organization inflated the value of his net worth and properties. With an additional $100 million in interest, Trump and his children have officially been banned from doing business in New York for 3 years. Just a day after the ruling, Trump launched his newest business endeavor in Pennsylvania. Trump attended SneakerCon in Philadelphia and revealed a luxury sneaker line. The limited edition golden sneakers are selling for $399. According to the business's website, the shoes are sold out.
Well, former President Trump is not the only one hoping to cash in. Anticipating a costly presidential campaign, incumbent President Joe Biden is in Southern California to raise funds. Los Angeles was the president's first stop during his trip. He was hosted by Israeli-American businessman Haim Saban. Saban has been a longtime donor of the Democratic Party and is selling tickets ranging from $3,000 to $250,000. The president will make stops in San Francisco and Los Altos Hills for other political engagements. The event proceeds from his trip will go towards the president's re-election fund and the Democratic National Committee.
In more politics news, Super Tuesday is fast approaching and one district attorney is under fire. With important elections coming up later this year, many politicians are finding themselves thrust in the national spotlight. Super Tuesday, the country's largest primary election day, lands on March 5th. 16 states and territories will be holding primaries or caucuses on this day. The current Democratic frontrunner is incumbent President Joe Biden, and the current Republican frontrunner is Donald Trump. Republican candidate and former governor of South Carolina Nikki Haley has not yet pulled out of the race. Despite major losses in several states and Trump holding a significant lead, Haley is continuing to move forward with her campaign ahead of Super Tuesday.
Everybody's telling me, why don't you just get out? I will never give up.
And the California Senate seat is up for re-election. A survey from Emerson College, Inside California Politics, and The Hill finds that Democratic Representative Adam Schiff is maintaining his lead in the United States primary. Former Los Angeles Dodger and Republican Steve Garvey comes second in the polling at 22%. A Republican candidate has not won a U.S. Senate race in California since 1988. With the passing of the longest-serving California Senator Dianne Feinstein in September, the GOP sees candidate Garvey as an opportunity to flip the seat red. And Fulton County, Georgia District Attorney Fani Willis took the witness stand February 15th amid allegations that she had an improper relationship with Nathan Willis. A defendant in the racketeering case Willis imposed against Donald Trump and 18 alleged co-conspirators for alleged interference with the results of the 2020 presidential election. Willis denied the allegations of an inappropriate relationship with Wade and expressed that this is a distraction from the trial against Trump.
You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
With Nikki Haley's refusal to back out of the race and a push from the GOP to flip California's Senate seat red, the country has much to consider ahead of Super Tuesday. Well, here's a political issue that is falling short. California is gearing up to go zero emissions, but drivers are already hitting roadblocks. Liz Hanna has that story.
Here in Laguna Beach, drivers are lining up to charge. Will it get better, or will some be left running on sparks? In 2020, Governor Newsom announced an executive order that has some California drivers worried.
By 2035, in the next 15 years, we will eliminate in the state of California the sales of internal combustion engines.
As part of the order, Laguna Beach is not only switching to an electric fleet at an estimated price tag of over $5 million, the local government says the city will need 398 new chargers to meet future demand for the anticipated influx of electric vehicles, a significant increase from the 32 chargers here now. So what is the city doing to help keep residents charged up?
Seeing the need for additional chargers, we're looking at developing an implementation plan that will gradually increase the number of public charging stations available, both those that are managed by the city as well as those by private businesses.
Competing for spots against its 6 million yearly visitors, locals here speaking up.
Today I was looking for parking in downtown Laguna, and every time I'm in Laguna, I find very little chargers. There's not one Tesla supercharger maybe for 30 miles from here.
Hard to get chargers aren't the only issue electric car drivers are facing.
Half the time they're taken, and then, when it's even worse is when you actually find one that's open. You're excited about it being open, you get there, and then you find out it's out of order.
When trying to plug in my own electric car, the first charger I tried wasn't connecting, leaving me searching around for an open and working one. But most importantly, drivers are left wondering how cities will cope with the impending order.
Over the next 8 to 10 years, the city is going to face a lot of work and a lot of challenge to try to get, one, the infrastructure in place, get enough chargers put in.
With the deadline looming and sales booming, drivers hope to see changes that will keep them powered up. Reporting from Laguna Beach, Liz Hanna, Beach TV News.
And now over to Colorado, where a 25-year-old man has been arrested over the murders of 2 people who were gunned down in a university dorm. Nicholas Jordan from Detroit is accused of shooting the 2 victims at the Colorado Springs campus. Police received reports of shots fired on campus and found a male and female deceased in one of their dorm rooms. The 2 victims have been identified as Samuel Knopp and Celie Rain Montgomery. Knopp was a student at the university and Montgomery was not. It turns out the suspect is Knopp's roommate. Jordan is being charged with 2 counts of murder in the first degree. Police say that it's an isolated event, and the suspect knew both victims. And speaking of gun violence, the Department of Justice has released a report about the failure of police response to the Robb Elementary School shooting in Uvalde, Texas. And still, local law enforcement refuses to release evidence that could give more insight on what really happened. BTVN's Raya Torres reports from Uvalde, where she spoke with the families of victims and survivors who are frustrated and remain waiting for answers.
Too many people involved, too many people got hurt for them just to say, nothing and just basically just not give us no answers.
Abigail Veloz's daughter is Mia Cerrillo, a survivor of the Robb Elementary shooting. The gunman opened fire in Mia's classroom. She called 911 and waited 77 minutes for police to save her.
Mia telling them, I can see your feet, I can open the door, we're right here. That's like, why didn't you go in? Why?
Abigail and other parents are filing a 1983 claim alleging law enforcement's failed response during the shooting. But the families can only rely on leaked evidence for their lawsuit because the Texas Department of Public Safety refuses to release 2.8 terabytes of evidence from their own investigation.
If you consider a Webster dictionary as far as just the size of documents, it's about 280,000 Webster dictionaries worth of data.
The Department of Justice recently visited Uvalde and released a 600-page report that outlined the failure of police on that tragic day.
The law enforcement response at Robb Elementary School on May 24, 2022, and in the hours and days after, was a failure that should not have happened.
The Uvalde District Attorney Christina Mitchell said they will continue investigating the shooting. She has not filed any charges. Brett Cross, the father of one of the victims, reacts.
The DA is screwing us over. I've been vocal on DPS is screwing us over. I mean, they're doing an investigation on themselves. Okay. That's like asking a student to grade themselves. Of course they're going to give themselves an A.
With no answers in sight, the families of the 21 victims who tragically died here are left outraged by the court's inaction. The fear is that no one will be held responsible for this horrific massacre.
And it infuriates me. Why won't they show us? Why do they have to hide everything? We already know that they're not going to punish any of the officers that were there.
The lawsuit filed by the families expires in just over 100 days. Families can only wait and hope they will eventually get answers.
We're never going to be comfortable in this town knowing that, there's someone we're still working here. What if something else happens? Are they going to do the same thing? Are they going to be able to protect us?
Reporting from Uvalde, Raya Torres, Beach TV News.
Thanks, Raya, for that very important update from Uvalde, Texas. We're going to take a short break, but when we return,
history was changed and records were broken in the NCAA. And see the NBA versus WNBA in a 3-point shooting match. Find out who wins.
Plus, want a cameo? Well, don't ask George Santos. The disgruntled former congressman is suing host Jimmy Kimmel over a cameo disagreement. The details up next.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. One in 3 adults has prediabetes, and you could be one of them. There are usually no signs for prediabetes, so it's important to understand your risk. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed, and you can change the outcome. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
What's that?
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. it always came back.
Dad! Okay, here we go, throw it! Yeah.
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Nice.
In Russia, citizens gathered to pay tribute to Alexei Navalny, who was a symbol of courage in the face of oppression. However, many are met with the harsh reality of their own government. Prominent opposition leader Alexei Navalny died in a Russian prison at the age of 47, where he was serving a 19-year sentence following his suspicious death. Cities around the world held vigils honoring Navalny. However, around 400 people paying tribute in Russia were arrested, and unidentified groups were seen removing flowers and photos at makeshift memorials. World leaders, including President Biden, have spoken out in condemnation of the secrecy surrounding Navalny's sudden death. His family and lawyers have been denied access to view his body, leading supporters to believe the Kremlin is covering up and hiding evidence. Nonetheless, Navalny is being remembered as an outspoken activist for democracy in Russia, fighting for civil rights and against corruption.
We now turn our attention over to the latest developments in the ongoing conflict in the Middle East and how one country is finally making history. BTVN reporter Enrique Rodriguez has the latest.
Thank you, Mar. We have the latest updates on the ongoing wars happening in Gaza and Ukraine, plus why people in Greece are celebrating. Let's dive in. Greece announced on February 15 that they officially legalized same-sex marriage. A group of people in Athens were seen celebrating when the news was announced. Greece becomes the first Orthodox Christian nation, the 16th European nation, and the 35th country worldwide to do so. 176 lawmakers supported the bill, while 76 were against it. Along with legalizing same-sex marriage, Greece will be on their way to legalize same-sex adoption. The Prime Minister, Kyriakos Mitsotakis, said that Greece will seek protection for children with same-sex parents, and he believes that those children deserve the same rights as everybody else. Airstrikes from Israel caused the central and southern Gaza to suffer on February 17th. According to doctors, at least 44 people were killed and dozens were injured in central Gaza, and at least 13 more Palestinians were killed in the city of Rafah in southern Gaza. A lot more damage was done as lots of homes and buildings around Gaza were destroyed. Hospitals are hoping that they could still save those individuals that are still alive. Ukraine is in big trouble after Russia gained full control on Ukrainian city Avdiivka after Ukraine's withdrawal. One of the reasons it fell is that the aid from the United States has weakened, as it has not sent enough help to Ukraine. US President Joe Biden said that the US lacking in help for Ukraine is ridiculous, despite Ukraine still fighting, even under all the circumstances. Right now, Ukraine's focus will be on how they will fight back against Russia. According to the new House of Representatives Speaker Mike Johnson, the US's focus is to decide whether they will send more aid to Ukraine or back away.
Thank you, Enrique. We now shift our focus to the streets of downtown Los Angeles, where a surge in graffiti has sparked concerns among residents and authorities alike. BTVN's Anthony Orico has the latest updates. The graffiti skyrise that is getting worldwide attention.
The Oceanwide Plaza has been turning heads and frustrating city officials for several weeks now, as the 3 abandoned high-rise buildings have been blanketed in graffiti from top to bottom. The complex sits directly across the street from LA's Crypto.com arena and was designated to become luxury apartments, but instead have become what many city officials are calling an eyesore.
Graffiti art undoubtedly has its place, but not on public and private property, where it defaces our street and diminishes our sense of security.
But not everyone is viewing the impromptu art as a negative, and they are more concerned with the price that the city will have to pay to deal with these buildings in general.
Personally, I think this is like history in the making. It's something like you see in like in the 80s of New York, where like you'll find like abandoned buildings in the ghetto and people would like go up and tag it.
LAPD has already arrested several suspects in connection with the graffiti and are asking for the public's assistance to identify more suspects. LA City Council has given the now bankrupt Chinese developers until February 17th to begin the cleanup of the buildings.
So what I understand is the taxpayers are gonna pay for the security and like the fences and stuff like that. But to be honest, I don't know what they're gonna do with this building.
Many street artists from around the world say they do not consider the graffiti to be vandalism, but rather legitimate art. LAPD says they will have round-the-clock patrols to ensure that no more graffiti takes place. For Beach TV News, I'm Anthony Orico.
It's time for another edition of Beach TV Sports, where we highlight our teams on campus while catching you up on the latest headlines in the sports world. Our Beach TV News reporter Christina Ramirez is here in the studio to break it all down. Christina?
Thanks, Morgan. We've got lots to get into. But first, let's head to the Pyramid, where our reporter Justin Gans gives us a preview of the men's volleyball season ahead of the NCAA tournament.
The Long Beach State's men's volleyball team is off to a great start for the 2024 season as they look to continue their winning ways throughout the rest of the season.
The Beach are coming off its first loss of the season against UCLA, as the team comes into its final 4 preseason games with a record of 10-1. The Beach start up Big West Conference games on March 8th as they host UC Santa Barbara. Head coach Alan Knight discussed how the team has played so far this preseason and how he thinks the team is doing overall.
Yeah, I've been really happy with our guys. Most importantly, I've been happy with their commitment to daily and weekly improvement. And when I say that, I don't mean just our starting group, our entire gym. So when you have the quality depth we have in our program right now, our practices have been really good. So our guys' focus and their attention to detail and desire to be really good is shown on how often they do that every single day.
I caught up with outside hitter Skylar Varga and asked him how he's performed so far this preseason.
I thought it's been going really well as a team. You know, we've just played UCLA this past weekend and we split. Even though we split, I thought it was a super successful weekend all around. You know, it was a tough competition, right? So I thought we played hard, and I think we're having a great season so far.
Long Beach State's iconic Walter Pyramid will host the championship for the 4th time in the school's history. The Beach previously won the NCAA championship at the Pyramid in 2019 when they last hosted. Men's volleyball looks to bring home more hardware back to the Beach. Reporting from Long Beach, Justin Gans, Beach TV News.
Thanks, Justin. Now it's time to see what NBA All-Star Weekend cooked up that's bringing new heights for women's basketball too. Plus, the showman returns to the ring, but did he really put on a show? We're about to find out.
Damian Lillard captivates fans at the 2024 NBA All-Stars game on Sunday. The Milwaukee Bucks guard was named MVP after the Eastern Conference defeated the West by 211 to 186. Scoring 39 points, including 11 three-pointers, Lillard also defends his three-point contest title on Saturday, becoming the only player alongside Michael Jordan to win a Saturday event and a Sunday All-Star Game MVP in the same year.
Talking about All-Star Saturday, Stephen Curry and Sabrina Ionescu owned the night with a remarkable three-point showdown. The Golden State Warriors guard heats up late, ending the night with 29 points, while the New York Liberty guard falls back only by 3 points, tying the highest scored by any NBA player in the contest and proving that women can keep up in the sport. This was the first ever NBA versus WNBA three-point challenge, and they're thinking of running it back next year, perhaps even with Iowa's standout Caitlin Clark. Speaking of Caitlin, the University of Iowa Tillsman became the all-time leading scorer in NCAA women's basketball. Clark surpasses Kelsey Plum, who poured in 3,527 points over 139 games. The Iowa point guard eclipsed the all-time mark in her 126th game against Michigan early in the first quarter. Stay tuned to witness her magnetize the entire basketball world. From the court to the boxing ring, Teofimo the Takeover Lopez returns to the ring to defend his WBO world title against Jermaine the Technician Ortiz at the Michelob Ultra Arena on February 8th. He channeled Hugh Jackman's The Greatest Showman for this bout, but he was anything but in an uneventful title defense. The Technician came out with a game plan, fighting on his back foot and making Lopez work for any offense he could get. Although it wasn't aesthetically pleasing to watch, Ortiz felt like he was in control most of the fight, even if the judges said otherwise.
I know how to control myself, and I knew he couldn't do that. That was the game plan. Get him out of his game plan, get him frustrated, and that's exactly what he was. He was throwing wild, I was making him miss. It was part of the game plan the whole time, and the game plan worked.
Lopez prevailed a unanimous decision victory, and while he failed to put on a show, he shares his focus throughout the fight.
My frustration is, come on and fight. Come on and fight. Now you know it's real. You know, and what do? Obviously it shows. So I can do what I can do.
With lackluster performances from both fighters, I doubt fight fans will be itching for a rematch. Well, that's your recap for sports. See you next time. Back to you ladies at the news desk.
In the aftermath of the tragic shooting that took place in Kansas City during their Super Bowl parade, the Chiefs and organizations in the community have launched KC Strong. Superstar quarterback Patrick Mahomes and tight end Travis Kelce have donated to the families severely affected through an emergency response fund to help the victims and their families. The shooting left 23 victims injured and 1 dead during the Chiefs parade. $100,000 was donated by Travis Kelce through his foundation to the Reyes family of the 2 young girls who were shot during the parade. The Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes and his wife Brittany also paid their respect through donating $50,000 to the Chiefs fundraiser while visiting the 2 sisters in the hospital. It's always nice to see players taking care of their community. It's time for another break, but when we return,
our entertainment reporter has all the scoop from last night's BAFTA Awards and what they could mean for the upcoming Oscars. Plus, some box office reporters from Marvel's latest installment.
And have you been boycotting Starbucks? Well, the company is hoping this new store concept will have you thinking of them in a better light. Will it work?
Those details up next.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. Alright, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
You're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
Welcome back. Well, here's one for you that is surely a sign of the times. Former U.S. Representative George Santos is slamming late-night TV host Jimmy Kimmel with a heavy lawsuit over cameo videos. You heard that right. Santos is seeking $750,000 in damages while accusing Kimmel, Disney, and ABC for copyright infringement. Kimmel created a segment for his show called Will Santos Say It? And it is alleged that his employees created fake cameo accounts to request videos from Santos saying silly and outlandish things.
Hey, Gary Fortuna. George Santos here. I just wanted to stop by to congratulate you for winning the Clearwater, Florida beef eating contest.
So what exactly did Kimmel infringe upon? Well, Santos claims that Kimmel didn't have the right to show these cameo videos on his show as it goes against Cameo's terms of services, and he did not give Kimmel permission to air them.
The entertainment world is looking like a battlefield as the biggest night in Hollywood is right around the corner and 2 movies are fighting for the #1 spot in the box office. Our reporter Stephen Matthews has more on these stories. Stephen?
Thanks, Morgan. We have a box office upset, a preview of the Oscars, and fashion colliding with metalworking at the Dune Part 2 premiere.
First up, we have a surprise at the box office as the biopic Bob Marley, One Love, smoked out the competition Madam Web in weekend earnings. One Love managed to outpace the superhero flick with a $52 million 6-day draw, while the Spider-Man spinoff only managed to web in $26 million. Is this another warning that the era of superhero movies is over, or is this just another Sony misstep in the genre? Moving on to awards season, let's talk Barbenheimer. During their theatrical run, Barbie was enough to take away the earnings crown, but during awards season, Oppenheimer has found the right formula to win. At the recent BAFTA Awards, Oppenheimer cleaned up with Best Film, Best Actor, and Best Director, and that's got many Hollywood insiders wondering how they will fare at the Oscars. For Best Picture, Oppenheimer is the favorite, with competition from Poor Things, The Holdovers, Barbie, and Killers of the Flower Moon. Best Actor has Cillian Murphy as the favorite for his role as J. Robert Oppenheimer, but close on his heels is Paul Giamatti for his role in The Holdovers. For Best Direction, Christopher Nolan gets the Oscar nod for Oppenheimer, and this would be his first win, but let's not count out his closest competition, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things and Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. The closest call of all the main categories is the Oscar for Lead Actress, with Emma Stone as the narrow favorite for her role in Poor Things and Lily Gladstone for her role in Killers of the Flower Moon. Gladstone is the first Native American woman ever nominated for the category. Finally, let's talk about preparing for battle on the red carpet. Zendaya stunned moviegoers at the Dune 2 premiere by wearing a metal ensemble crafted by designer Thierry Mugler, whose robotic design was inspired by the Maschinenmensch character from the 1925 German novel Metropolis. With fashion like that, let's hope Zendaya's dry cleaner has blacksmithing tools in the back of their shop.
I already have my tickets for Dune Part 2 this weekend. That's all for entertainment news. Back to you, Mar.
I don't think Zendaya can do any wrong, like ever.
Hey, I'm with you on this one.
Well, get this. Starbucks is shifting the narrative. They have now opened a store in Washington, D.C. that is accommodating to all. The new changes in this Starbucks comes with lower countertops so people in wheelchairs can now access it.
It doesn't just stop there. The cafe also includes a new design to minimize background noise in the cafe to lessen overstimulation. In the past, folks with disabilities called out Starbucks on social media.
But with softer lighting, automatic doors, and bigger menus that are easier to read, it is safe to say that people with disabilities will be able to enjoy Starbucks without the extra hassles. We love to see it. And on that note, we end this edition of Beach TV News. I'm Marcela Carrillo.
And I'm Morgan Barella. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation. Head over to our social apps at Beach TV News. While you're there, show us some love and let us know which was your favorite story.
From all of us at BTVN, good night, Long Beach.